Up next on The Reveal,
Cobb County 911.
we take you inside a hostage negotiation.
Can you make me a promise you're not going to hurt yourself or anybody else?
He put the gun up to my side and said that you're not going anywhere.
How an alleged drug addict was able to run a sober living home and the loophole that makes it legal in Georgia.
You know, you lose your home. That's hard.
Homeowners losing their homes to the community designed to protect its value.
Where is the fairness in the process?
You know, we never thought anything of it until that first paycheck came.
Or didn't come.
Right.
These men were promised six-figure salaries. They ended up with nothing. From our Midtown studios in Atlanta, The Reveal begins now with our multi-Emmy and National Moral Award-winning team of investigators.
Welcome to The Reveal. I'm Faith Abube.
And I'm Brendan Keefe. A Reveal investigation has uncovered an industry in Georgia making a living off of a vulnerable population with little oversight. It involves drug addicts who desperately want to regain sobriety, paying to live in so-called sober living homes. We found one accused of taking advantage of its clients that almost cost them their lives.
Cobb County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yes, my name is Frank Malone, and the police got my house surrounded right now.
You're about to listen to the voice of a hostage held at gunpoint for 36 hours.
Is he holding you against your will? Just answer yes or no.
Yes.
Do you want to get out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Barricaded inside, a 27-year-old woman and Frank Malone, a repeat violent offender believed to be on meth and on the phone with Cobb County Police.
Can you make me a promise you're not going to hurt yourself or anybody else?
Just don't run up in this house. Don't do that.
Sydney Kaha is the hostage.
He put the gun up to my side and said that you're not going anywhere.
Let Sydney go, then you come on out with your hands up.
We couldn't go to the bathroom. If we did go to the bathroom, we had to go in a pot.
Armored vehicles, sharpshooters, and a surveillance robot stand by to take action.
So he was almost using me as like a shield for himself.
And then, at exactly 3:05 on October 30th, Frank released Sydney alive.
It was a relief that I can't ever explain.
All memories of that day continue to haunt Sydney. The home once symbolized a second chance at redemption. It's owned by a company called New Transitions, a sober living home for drug addicts and recovery. Sydney abused heroin for 7 years.
It took everything in my life and destroyed it. Everything that I touched, it was destroyed.
Sydney moved into the home October 2018 to meet a Cobb County drug court mandate. Instead of jail, offenders seek treatment. Typically, sober living homes have strict rules: no drugs, random testing, and curfews. Sydney says none of that was happening at New Transitions.
The first thing I saw when I went into one of the rooms was a drawer full of needles. Being an addict, you can't go in and see something like that.
In a place that you're supposed to be recovering.
In a place that I'm supposed to be recovering.
It wasn't just Sydney who noticed these things. In 2015, Georgia's State Board of Pardons and Parole removed New Transitions from an approved list of transitional housing for offenders after it received complaints about a client given meth by a housing manager. About that same time, GAR, or Georgia's Association of Recovery Residents, also pulled its certification. Dick Cottrell is the organization's former president.
In the end, we had to say, sorry, we've given you fair warning. We have come here and attempted to help you come up to GAR standards, and you haven't complied.
Cottrell delivered that message to this woman, Barbara Gray, the owner of New Transitions. After she declined interview requests, we caught up with her this past October. Do you think drugs are appropriate inside sober living homes?
Talk to my lawyer. I will not talk to you.
While Gray isn't talking, one of her former employees is. Frank Malone. He's that same man accused of holding Sydney hostage, and also one of Gray's former house managers. In a letter obtained by The Reveal, Malone writes from jail, Barbara Gray ruined my life, and she's ruining the lives of other addicts that are taking their recovery and sobriety seriously. She uses drug addicts as house managers. I was one of them.
Do you regret hiring a convicted felon to run your sober living home?
No comment. Talk to my lawyer.
Gray's attorney tells The Reveal New Transitions is no longer in operation. But The Reveal uncovered it wouldn't take much for her or anyone to reopen a sober living home business in Georgia. No special licenses needed. That means no inspections. Lee Davis is Sydney's attorney.
If you are going to be diverting people into a system that requires them to find something like sober living, then I think you need to have a hand in watching over to make sure the sober living places are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
How many sober living recovery homes are there in Georgia?
I wish anyone knew.
Cottrell doesn't want the state to regulate sober living homes, but he would like to see Georgia mandate homes become GAR certified, which he claims abides by strict standards.
The major overarching standard is the safety of the residents.
If the organization finds significant problems, can it shut down a home?
No, we cannot do that.
Can it levy a financial penalty?
No, we cannot do that.
He is a convicted felon with a rap sheet, and he also had a gun when he held those people hostage.
Nobody's holding him accountable. Anybody, you could go start up a sober living not knowing what you're doing and bring in a bunch of addicts and it become a not good place to live.
The owner of the company there kept saying over and over again, talk to my attorney. Have you heard back from the attorney?
We emailed him twice and even spoke to him on the phone, and nothing so far.
And Georgia doesn't regulate these sober living homes, Andy. Do other states?
They do, and Florida is leading the way. It's passed numerous legislative measures, one of which requires operators to undergo background checks, something Georgia does not do.
Coming up on The Reveal.
A lot of times, people can't afford to fight. They just have to walk away.
How this woman was forced from her home by her homeowners association. Owning a home used to be the American dream, and homeowner associations were designed to protect it. But if you consistently fail to pay your dues, they have a right to foreclose and kick you to the street. The woman you're about to meet says she did pay, just not enough to stop a black hole of debt she couldn't escape.
Okay, here's me calling.
When Patricia Quigley calls her HOA's property management company, she gets this message.
The number you dialed is not a working number.
But call from any other phone number.
Thank you for calling Access Management Group.
You're blocked.
9 a.m.
In 2010, Quigley, upset with her HOA's billing process, decided to take a stand and refused to pay her dues, about $700 that year. But that only led to letters from Lozeka and Johansson, the law firm hired to collect on the debt. And that debt had grown.
Walked in, paid him the $2,700, and when I walked out, I said, "This is all I owe, right?" Yes.
But it wasn't all you owed.
No.
Shortly after, she received another bill for $3,000. She called and sent letters trying to figure out why. But all Quigley says she got in return were cryptic statements, dates with amounts that didn't make any sense to her.
Then here comes the next set of letters. And now it's up to $6,400.
Turns out there were post-judgment legal fees and 18% back interest. So even after she'd paid more than $9,000, she was still somehow behind on her dues. But in 2018, she received the most shocking letter of all, an eviction notice.
You know, you lose your home. That's hard.
But sadness turned to anger when she realized the HOA had purchased her home through foreclosure for $3.24 a year before she was evicted.
So you had been living in your house for a year, but you didn't legally own your house.
No.
Quigley says not only did the HOA accept her dues payment on a house she apparently did not own, but allowed her to make another $4,600 in home loan payments before getting kicked out.
She paid a debt she did not owe.
Yes, that's for sure, and they don't have to give it back.
Attorney George Nowak has helped craft Georgia's HOA laws since the 1980s. He says Quigley's story is tragic, but it is a tragedy of her own making.
It doesn't happen
In a vacuum.
In a back room, in blue smoke and mirrors.
Nowak says the HOA can't win a judgment until the homeowner owes at least $2,000. The court must perform a title search, have the foreclosure posted in the paper for a month, and the homeowner served.
They brought this on because they ignored all of the requests to pay. They didn't show up at the trial most times.
You want some more?
Quigley admits she never did go to court, not understanding the process or the stakes involved. But Phoenicia Law, a homeowner in Douglas County, did try to fight the HOA's claims against her.
When they garnished my bank account, I was unemployed.
Law owns a home in the Rosewood Community Association. She received a payment plan to catch up on her dues, but there were a few added fees she didn't understand.
I didn't know how it was stacking up. I knew.
You just knew it was a lot.
I knew it was a lot.
She disputed the bill in court, appealing to the judge for help.
These exhibits I sent to the court.
But court records say Law's dispute arrived one day too late, so the judge couldn't consider issues like this check, an HOA payment mailed in vain.
Clearly returned the sender 7 times.
The kicker, after she lost the case, she was told to mail her settlement payment to that same address. And this time, the check didn't come back.
While it's portrayed as cold and you're taking advantage of the homeowner, it's the exact opposite. People who don't pay their assessments are having everybody else in the community subsidize them.
Georgia law fiercely protects an HOA's right to collect what is owed, but neither of these women deny their debt. What they do have a problem with is the inability to mediate and ask questions when a disagreement arises.
A lot of times, people can't afford to fight. They just have to walk away.
According to the Community Association Institute, 6 states have some type of ombudsman to help educate and facilitate these discussions, and several states require mediation before a lawsuit is filed. Georgia isn't one of them. After Quigley was evicted, the Reveal learned her HOA sold the house to an employee at the law firm involved in her foreclosure.
That really bothers me because how could that not be illegal?
According to public documents, Legacy Investment Properties, a company that didn't legally exist at the time, bought the house for $1 and a portion of the profits. The woman behind the LLC then reactivated her real estate license and sold the home to a new family.
I've never heard a story like that before.
Well, the HOA and law firm recouped their money, and the LLC likely made some.
This cat's tougher than...
Quigley ended up homeless, losing tens of thousands of dollars in equity.
The courts have said there is no legitimate reason for not paying. If you believe the association has done you wrong, then sue the association.
Pay it.
And sue the association.
It's hard to buy a home these days without having to be in one of these associations. So as a homeowner, how do you avoid these situations?
Homeowners need to take these assessments seriously, and they need to reach out to the board as soon as there's a problem. These fees don't really snowball until the attorneys get involved. But these women shared their stories to show why Georgia needs some type of mediation board. They say it is critical we find a way to get everyone to sit down at the table and actually talk.
And Rebecca, that money that Quigley paid to her board and also to the mortgage company, can she get any of that back?
No, because she paid it voluntarily, and under state law, it was her responsibility to know that her house had been sold and that she no longer owed any of that debt.
Next on The Reveal, you haven't been paid a single penny.
Not a dime.
Phantom jobs. Atlanta employees hoping to earn 6 figures left without a paycheck.
Welcome back to The Reveal. How many job postings online are real, and how can you tell if one of them is fake?
More than a dozen Atlanta workers are asking that question after they worked for months for a ghost company. Our Reveal investigation discovered the executives were recruited by a major hiring website for jobs that didn't really exist. How long would you work without a paycheck?
You know, we never thought anything of it until that first paycheck came.
Or didn't come.
Right.
There's 14 of you who all were these regional vice presidents,
Right.
6-figure salaries, and you're all in the same boat.
Right.
Not a penny, right?
Right.
You haven't been paid a single penny.
Not a dime.
These executives were all hired by United Freedom Group.
One of our 3 o'clock conference calls, that's what came up.
Now their CEO won't even take their calls.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.
We got played.
You wanted the opportunity, like we always said. You still had your toolbox. You still had a lot of ability within that toolbox to offer a company. And we thought that this was maybe going to be it.
For William Rush and his wife, it was all about the full coverage health insurance.
I'm a type 1 diabetic. You know, I'm having to go right now to a free clinic up in Gainesville to get my medical supplies that I need. That's humbling.
This is it. This is
the building we were supposed to be at. That's correct.
Edwin Sanchez moved to Atlanta from New Jersey to take a job as regional vice president for United Freedom Group.
It was $100,000 base plus commissions. In our first year, we were looking at $200,000. In our second year, we would be looking at $400,000.
So you came here to the office and they said, we can't let you in.
Yes, I came here and they told me I was not allowed in because they had never received payment whatsoever on the premises.
Blueprints and photographs showed where their offices would be in this gleaming luxury building.
But he was looking for about 27,000 square foot to fit in 24 offices, and as we advanced, an additional 24 offices with a wide open space of about 15,000 square foot.
We discovered those pictures were lifted right from online ads posted by the leasing company.
There was 14 of us, and we never met the CEO at all. This guy, AJ, and we never met him.
What is his name?
AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson. Do you think that's a real name?
I don't know.
That's a pretty generic name. It's hard to track.
He first told us his name was AJ. Then 2 weeks later into the conversation, he told us his real name was Mike.
Do you think AJ Johnson really exists, or is it somebody else? Is this just a fake name?
I think it's fake.
The guy's just a ghost.
This is all they have to go on, a single screen grab from a Skype call.
If it wasn't for that I told one of the guys, take that picture, we wouldn't have anything.
AJ Johnson, whoever he is, sends texts every couple of weeks, offering apologies and promises of payment. My wife is close to death. I will go to the bank on Monday.
You know, there's every kind of hiccup and roadblock that you could come up with.
The investors pulled out. Federal government now has my money. Federal government released the money, but now the bank has our money. The bank released the money, but now my wife is sick in hospital and she's dying.
When he kept on doing it, I was on a Friday afternoon, was always at 5, making sure that our banks were closed.
The web registration for UnitedFreedomGroup.org is hidden by Domains by Proxy, a company with the slogan, "Your identity is nobody's business but ours." And the law firm that incorporated the company in Wyoming offers anonymous online filings for $199. The address listed as United Freedom Group's corporate headquarters is 201 East 5th Street in Sheridan, Wyoming. The law firm is at 905 Broadway. Those two addresses intersect at the very same building.
Is that suspicious?
It is now, yeah.
Does that rail depot in Sheridan, Wyoming look like a corporate headquarters to you?
No, it doesn't.
An anonymous corporate filing, a hidden website registration, a CEO with a generic name, and invisible paychecks.
Who recruited you?
Actually, it was Indeed for Hire.
Indeed.com.
Indeed.com. They have an arm that actually does recruiting for companies.
You were recruited for this job, right?
Yes, by Indeed.
So Indeed.com, Indeed for Hire, actually contacted you, not the other way around.
That's correct.
When they call you up, you think they're legitimate because it's Indeed.
Indeed.com told us we are appalled by the fraudulent behavior that United Freedom Group has exhibited with employees hired through our platform. We have banned United Freedom Group from posting jobs on Indeed, and we are working to implement new measures to prevent similar instances in the future.
We take the position it doesn't go well, and the only time we hear from Indeed is when they want to find out if we know anything about AJ, because they're looking for him as well because he hasn't paid them. Not that they haven't paid us, but they haven't paid Indeed.
The United Freedom Group's website is still up, but it was locked down right after we sent a text to AJ Johnson asking for his side of the story. Like his employees and their paychecks, we got nothing.
Did investors really fall through? Did they ever even really exist?
Did they exist?
Could this even be just the machinations of a deranged individual?
I tell you what, he's got a hell of an imagination.
The startup was designed as an unusual combination of for-profit political action committee, discount membership club, and a pyramid scheme.
So who are these mysterious investors who pulled out last minute, and do you know what their angle is?
Faith, we have no way of knowing, but the company's social media pages are still up, and they show hundreds of political memes that are strikingly similar to those spread by foreign bots posing as Americans as part of that disinformation campaign connected to Russian intelligence.
Thanks for watching The Reveal, the nation's only weekly local investigative show.
And we'll see you next Sunday for The Reveal.